High-quality early care and education is foundational to children's brain development and learning, families' economic and emotional well-being, a valued and resourced early care and education workforce, and thriving communities and economies. Quality Rating and Improvement Systems, or QRIS for short, are a way to measure, communicate, and enhance the quality of early care and education programs. QRIS were designed for three main purposes: to recognize and reward providers' strengths, to help families make informed choices about childcare, and to provide supports to improve children's experiences in early care and education settings. To realize these goals, a QRIS must do what it's meant to do: measure meaningful differences in quality. When a QRIS functions well, differences in quality ratings correlate with differences in child outcomes. Children in lower rated programs are in theory having less optimal experiences and therefore should show less progress in learning and development. Children in higher rated programs should be having more optimal experiences and therefore should demonstrate more favorable outcomes. However, many research studies in multiple states find that overall, associations between QRIS ratings and child outcomes are weak and inconsistent. In study after study, differences in quality levels do not correspond to meaningful differences in child outcomes. Taken as a whole, these studies suggest that it is not any individual state's approach that isn't working, but rather the general structure of QRIS. It's no longer a question of tinkering around the edges or continuing to build on top of what we have. To realize the full potential and promise of QRIS, we must make bold changes. What might be possible if we were willing to knock it all down, pick up the pieces, and rebuild something new? In this video series, we'll explore why QRIS doesn't work like we expect it to, and offer an innovative blueprint for deconstructing and rebuilding QRIS to give everyone the foundation they need to be successful. In the first part of this series, we explained that quality rating and improvement systems don't work like we thought they would. In this video, we explain why. First, QRIS focus on indirect supports of quality rather than what matters most. Second, they assume there's only one right way to achieve quality. Third, they collapse multiple dimensions of quality into a single data point. And finally, they ignore variation within programs. QRIS usually don't center what matters most. The strongest predictors of children's learning and development in early care and education settings are teacher-child interactions. This includes how teachers support learning, respond to children's needs, and guide their behavior. Yet, interactions are rarely the central focus of quality rating and improvement systems. More often, QRIS focus on factors that support teacher-child interactions, such as well-designed learning environments and curricula, knowledge and skill-building opportunities for teachers, and workplaces that support teacher well-being. However, while these supports can create the conditions for strong teacher-child interactions, they by no means guarantee it. Just because a provider has an evidence-based curriculum doesn't mean the curriculum is actually used or used well, or that it meets the specific needs of a program's children and staff. While these are often good starting points, there are too many subsequent steps to take to connect to child outcomes, and ultimately, too many wrong turns that can be made on the way. Additionally, QRIS standards often incorrectly assume one right way to achieve quality. For example, a college degree may give some people the knowledge and skills they need to teach well. However, other teachers may reach the same level of quality through years in the field, openness to coaching and learning on the job, or other lived experiences. Many children thrive in programs that can't check all the boxes for a high QRIS rating. However, children won't thrive without supportive and responsive interactions with teachers and caregivers. We need to stop trying to prescribe the route to quality and instead focus on the destination. Most QRIS collapse multiple dimensions of quality into one overall score. These dimensions often include program-level factors, features of learning environments, health and safety practices, family engagement, and teacher-child interactions, which usually represent a small portion of indicators. All of these are important parts of a program's ecosystem, but for different reasons. Teacher-child interactions relate directly to children's learning and development. Health and safety practices predict rates of illness, injury, and other health outcomes. Family engagement is associated with overall family well-being, but is only indirectly linked to child outcomes. When you collapse all this complex information into a single data point, you hide important nuances and lose the ability to predict anything very well. For instance, a program might have strong teacher-child interactions, which are related to child development and learning. But this program might get the same overall score as a program with weak teacher-child interactions but strengths in other areas. In this example, one rating is associated with two very different outcomes, which explains, in part, why ratings often don't relate to child outcomes. Another challenge is that children's experiences in center-based programs can vary widely across classrooms. Indeed, research shows that differences in quality between classrooms in the same program are often bigger than differences in quality between programs. Thus, using an average or a random sample of classrooms likely doesn't adequately capture what kind of supports could best help teachers or what families can expect from the program. The good news is we can fix this problem. In the next video, we explore how we might deconstruct a traditional QRIS and use the pieces to design tailored quality supports and help families find the best fit for their needs and values. In the first two videos, we discussed how quality rating and improvement systems have not lived up to their promise and the reasons why. In this video, we introduce 3 big ideas for knocking down what's not working and rebuilding better systems. Number 1, shifting from a universal prescription for quality to individualized supports. Number 2, moving from high-stakes ratings to continuous quality improvement. And number 3, doing away with a one-size-fits-all definition of quality and instead helping families find the best fit for their needs and preferences. The first big idea focuses on the destination rather than the route to quality. What if instead of the current kitchen sink approach to monitoring, we focused only on what matters most, teacher-child interactions? Rather than a high-stakes end goal, classroom observations become the starting point for understanding the supports each teacher needs to be successful. One teacher might need some adjustments to their learning environment, while another may benefit from specific professional development and an evidence-based curriculum. The content, type, and intensity of supports will vary for each classroom and teacher. The second big idea focuses on continuous quality improvement, or CQI. Current models of QRIS are heavily weighted toward monitoring, which is burdensome for providers and the state. Monitoring drives ratings, which in turn determine financial supports, which are often inequitably rewarding more well-resourced programs. What if we deconstructed this model and moved the pieces around, starting with the overall health of teacher-child interactions? Based on a program's needs, the state would invest a down payment on quality giving programs the specific resources they need to improve quality. Things that were previously required quality indicators, which programs were held accountable for, have been shifted to the support side of the equation. Like ongoing wellness checks, this process would be a continuous cycle of determining needs, providing support, and following up to see what's working. The final big idea is to provide a more useful system for families to make choices about childcare. What if, in addition to building strong foundations of teacher-child interactions, programs could choose to earn badges based on demonstrated strengths in different content areas or for working with special populations? Honoring a diverse array of program strengths and family preferences moves away from a one-size-fits-all definition of quality and avoids collapsing multiple dimensions into a single quality measure. What if, instead of asking families to choose between different levels of quality, which is not really a choice at all, we asked what qualities of a program are most important to you? Inviting families to define quality for themselves and giving them information on programs that are the best match for their unique pattern of priorities avoids defining programs as good or bad, and instead focuses on whether a program is a good fit for a family. Building a better QRIS doesn't mean starting from scratch, but it does mean knocking down ways of thinking we've become attached to and carefully considering where each piece belongs as we rebuild. It means allowing for multiple paths to quality, shifting from incentives to investments, through an ongoing cycle of continuous quality improvement, centering teacher-child interactions, and truly honoring family choice. What might be possible if we boldly knocked it all down and built a new, more equitable system on stronger foundations?